Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video of us today. It's the second part of our wrist mobility series, the small series, and we're gonna talk about if you already deal with wrist pain, if you currently have wrist pain and you cannot perform the pails and rails we showed you in the last video, or the passive range hold, or you can't even perform push-ups and handstands because every time you do the exercise you get pain, or you are in pain, or prior to the exercise without even doing the exercise at all you have pain. So we're gonna talk about some solutions you can apply and you can do to get out of pain and to help you to be able to do the exercises eventually. So first of all, it's very important to understand the prerequisites for a certain exercise. If you don't understand it, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, please watch the first video of the series where Leslie is going to talk about the prerequisites, especially for wrist extension, where you should be able to have a 90-degree active range of motion at least to be able to perform the push-ups or handstand safely, in a safe manner, okay, and not insulting your wrist and your wrist joint. If you don't have that prerequisites, then you most likely need to improve your mobility with the exercises. But today we're going to talk about if you have already pain and the solutions, right? So make sure that your wrist warm up is not looking like this, right? So fast, quick circles, you shake them out a little bit, make fast rotations, and then you start working out, and eventually you deal with pain again during your workout. I dealt with wrist pain on the right wrist myself during handstands, and yeah, it's a really frustrating thing because yeah, you are on your hands a lot of time. So a good way to start as a good solution would be low-level pails and rails. So the same stuff Leslie talked about in the first video. You go into the disposition and you don't apply much force coming from your upper body, so not much lean. So if I would go further, then obviously the angle here would be decreasing and the pain would be right here deep down in my wrist. So I want to go out a little bit of that range, and now I'm starting to apply the pails contraction, but not with 100% max force pushing down into the ground, but maybe slightly, only 50 to 60%. Just push my hand down, keeping the elbows straight, everything here in a super strict form. And I can also play with some rails. The rails, for a lot of people, might insult the pain even further. So be careful here with the rails. Try to think of lifting the hand up, but only just slightly and carefully. Be gentle here to your wrist and don't insult it even further. So just 20% of the rails, think of keeping the elbow straight, and just think of lifting the hand off for 15 to 20 seconds. Then leave out the isometrics, play a little bit around here in this scenario, and maybe repeat it again. So low-level pails and rails are a great way to still work the muscles there, but without training into pain. That's very important. Don't train into pain. So another option would be just the pails contraction. If the rails is really hurting and insulting, just do the pails, just push into the ground, and with time, maybe you can go further and further and decrease the angle here again, and only do the pails for 15 seconds and push into the ground as hard as you can. And with time, if your central nervous system, if your body allows you to go into a deeper range of motion again, then you can start applying the rails contraction slow and careful, okay? So another good solution is to start with wrist cars. So small wrist circles, make sure your fingers and hand is staying straight all the time, and you're starting with slow, low-level cars here. Just small circles without, again, going into the pain. It's all about moving the joint. It's like brushing your teeth, but only for your joint. And it's so important to get movement in there so the bad fluid gets out and the good nutrients and the new fluid gets in, okay? So it actually can heal a lot better and a lot faster, but don't deal and train into pain. So low level cars here, and increase the range of motion over time. Just do it 3, 5 to 10 times during the day. It's very, very important to get the movement in, okay? So another very important thing to look at is the elbow. The ulna and radius goes in, flows into your wrist. So looking at the elbow, how does your elbow function with supination and rotation is so important as well for you. Look at your elbow, and a really good way to get your elbow moving through the full range of motion are again elbow cars. It's just such a good assessment tool for you. So you feel where you have maybe some pinching sensations or troubles going into pronation and supination when you maybe in full flexion of the elbow. So when you hear pronation and then turning it in supination, opening up, fighting for more supination as you go down, fighting for more supination as you go up, rotating into pronation, fight for more pronation as you go down, and go with pronation up again. If you feel pain or discomfort here in your elbow while doing this, or even think of pushing 60 kilos down, so creating more tension, and the pain increases in your elbow, or the discomfort in your whole forearm is there, then you might need, you probably need to work on elbow mobility as well to really get a really healthy joint from the wrist to the elbows and to the shoulders, so everything is functioning correct and the way it's supposed to, okay? So hope this helped you guys, and please do not just warm up with these circles and then go into an exercise. Start really with some isometrics. Start with the first video with some passive French holds or some pails and rails, and if you deal with pain and you know every time you go into a handstand or a push-up and you have pain, then just don't do the exercise at all until you build up the capacity and the prerequisites needed for the certain exercises. And also, please don't use wrist straps. Wrist straps are like orthotics for your shoes. They're just supporting the wrist, but your wrist will not get stronger over time, right? You will increase maybe and get better in your planche, but the range of motion your wrist needs for a full planche gets increased, but you don't work on it, then your wrist will eventually gets into pain or gets injured, right? So work on your wrist mobility. Then if you have the prerequisites and get out of pain, then start with some good warm-up, with some good wrist stretches while doing and applying isometrics to really warm up the muscles surrounding your wrist, and then you can do the exercises which makes you happy and that you set your goals for, right? So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or subscribe to our channel for more mobility and strength tutorials, and we'll see you guys in the next video.